think of it like this. Think of your code as the code, obviously, right? And the keys are like phonemes. Now imagine what would happen in a player piano if the little sprockets that read the code missed, every fifth or sixth hole. You wouldn't recognize Mozart or whatever it was playing. It would sound funky to you, right? Or imagine that some of the keys on the piano were missing. Again, you wouldn't recognize the music. Or all of a sudden, maybe the machinery itself is just going too slow. I mean, one of the things about all this is that it's incredibly connected to the speed. Anybody recognize that?
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice.
The point is that what we call language operates in what's called a narrow profile, a narrow temporal profile of intelligibility. If it doesn't move at a certain pace, we can't understand it. If it moves too fast, we can't understand it. It has a narrow window. It's important to understand that narrow window because when we talk about reading, what we're talking about is the brain having to do all of this unconscious artificial processing at this incredible speed to hit that window, otherwise it doesn't make sense. As far as word speed goes, that's best brought out in a way by understanding the eye tracking information.
Yeah, you said some interesting things about children when they come to learn to read, and there are a lot of things that they have to master that they haven't done before, and one of them is coordinating the eyes. I mean, they look at television and they look at their world around them, but they haven't actually had to focus their attention so precisely as they have to when they start reading. We're talking about moving your eyes about 3 characters, which is about 1 degree of visual angle, when most eye movements they're making before that are much bigger. I'm mainly interested in finding out what's going on inside the head as people are reading and understanding. I think what eye movements are doing is reflecting the moment-to-moment processing that people are engaging in. There's time that's involved in moving the eyes from one place to another, so that the latency, just the simple motor reaction time of the eye, is about 150 milliseconds at least. So there's not a lot of time in there to process the information that you're looking at, yet it's still interesting that, as I said, the eyes are being influenced by how hard or easy the word is to process.
By how hard or easy the word is to process. Now, he was just talking about 150 milliseconds, right? Which is between a tenth and a little over a tenth of a second, right? So it's fast. The rate at which the brain has to work out the code confusion is even much faster. For example, if I say bad and dad, the difference between bad and dad, if you were to actually break it down with a scope and look at it in time, is less than a tenth of a second in the B, the D, right? So in order to read, the reading assembly has to figure out the code and project that on average in less than a tenth of a second per letter sound correspondence. It's amazing when you think about it. So what we're talking about is this radically artificial and confusing correspondence system that's in this code, and children having their lives all but faded by how well their early life learning trajectory hits the differentiated or lack of differentiated instruction to pull their brain into generating that simulation before it becomes so confusing for so long that they develop a intelligent, automatic, and unconscious desire to avoid doing it.
How do you feel when you read?
My brain hurts.
It hurts?
My head started hurting. It's like it kept on boom, 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 just beating. I didn't even know the word. I don't even know what's going on in my head. I didn't. I was like, what is this word? I can't figure it out.
It's pretty difficult, like putting sounds to these symbols, and, knowing the difference between one and another, and knowing that some are numbers and some are letters, and that you can put them together and they form a completely different thing.
I get confused a lot because I'll sit there and I get frustrated. It's It's no fun. I don't like reading.
And I can't understand what it's saying.
We're talking about children experiencing a form of confusion that's unnatural to their organism.
I think that's an interesting and good way to frame things.
Learning to read in alphabetic orthography is a very artificial and unnatural act.
It's one of the most complex, unnatural, cognitive interactions that brain and environment have to coalesce together to produce. It's amazing.
Let's remember, for the vast bulk of our existence as a species, we lived without any formal system of writing.
In a sense, reading was invented by Gutenberg, or you could say it was invented by the Swedish kings that for the first time required that every child in the kingdom must learn to read, and left the local preacher, the local minister, responsible for that. And that's a 17th century event, right? That's a relatively recent event.
The alphabet is a technology in the sense that it's a contrived device for conveying information.
It is in a sense a technological artifact, absolutely.
When we read, we take in a code, we get a set of instructions, and we perform cognitive processes.
Well, in English, get the hook.
I knew the letter names. It was like the sounds and the bigger words and the words that, like, when you sound them out, they aren't pronounced the way they sound.
I mean, I'm sounding them out like I've been taught, but it just ain't, I don't know, it just don't work. Because, you know, they tell you to sound out, and then, you got vowels, and some of them are silent, and it's just like, well, these two work together to make this, and it's like, huh? I mean, it's just like, it's so confusing.
C, K, S, Ch, Sh. O, ow, ah, wa, oo. M, P, P. A, A, R, R. I, E. S, Sh, Z. O, ow, ah, wa, oo. N,
Inconsistencies, absurdities, facts contrary to the etymology that show up in the writing system. It's a mess.
It's a real puzzle, and it's a very arbitrary exercise in orthography to figure out what's what.
Who came up with ENOUGH spells enough?
Why do I have one tooth and several teeth, and I go into a restaurant and sit in one booth and there aren't several beef?
By F, I don't hear F making V sounds very often, and it doesn't. In fact, it only does it in of.
I don't know of anything that has more exceptions than reading in English. I mean, English seems to be a total monster.
Again, this is one little slice of one, in this case, 10-minute video. That's one of 13 videos in this one chapter, right? So you can go to the web to get more detail on this. The thing that's